Good day, you wild roving band of questers on the road to Liafoil, the Stone of Destiny. I wanted to drop in with a little revolution report for you today just to get you prepared for really launching off this next leg of the journey, which will be on Tuesday when we have a new moon coming in. It is that new moon in Sagittarius, so what better time than to begin the hunt for our destiny and preparing ourselves to face off with all the opposition that we are sure to greet along the way, not only outside of ourselves and our so-called perceived opponents, because at the end of the day, we really know we're all on the same side, regardless of what our little ego identifications tell us, but we are here in this 3D reality. We aren't in some other dimension as much as we may want to be, especially with this leg of the journey that we're opening up with, because right now we're going through the scenic route of dystopia. And I really want to drop in and share what came in today. I did a casting with the I Ching, just sort of to get a lay of the land, see how we need to be moving into this next leg of the journey on our quest for the 4 jewels of the Tuatha De Danann. If this is your first time here going through this, welcome. I'm going to be bringing in a lot around this, but it is an organic experience. It's something that I'm learning along the way, so I'm not quite sure how we formulate this thing, but it is all inspired and it is all led by whatever is guiding me, whatever guiding force is calling me to do this with all of you. But I hope that it's an enriching experience for you. I hope that it gives you an opportunity to really stretch and grow and discover what you're capable of. We're really going to be working on alchemy this time around. I'm really excited about that. We're going to be working on the keys of manifestation and really honing our abilities in that arena. But we are also looking at, interesting, as I look up at the sky, I wonder if I can pick it up. I don't know if I'll be able to pick it up. Can I try? How can I do this on this phone? Oh my goodness, there's this cloud. I don't know, I'll try. Hopefully that'll show it. It looks like a stag in the sky. I don't know if I was able to capture that for you. It may or may not have come through. It's kind of a cloudy, overcast day today. We've had a little bit of rain. I love days like this, and I didn't want to be stuck inside. I thought I'm going to get outside. I'm going to feel the energy, tap in, drop in with everybody, and just record the revolution report out here for all the questers. So hopefully you picked that up. It might have been difficult. I don't even know if I was capturing the right section of the sky. I'll have to watch when I see the replay, but I mean, that's kind of how it is right now anyway, especially with the I Ching casting that we got that came up. It was unchanging. So once again, we're ending up in this sort of fixed position, but that makes sense when you're sitting in the center of dystopia, right? So everything has come unraveled, everything has come undone. The I Ching casting we got was hexagram 64, which is before completion, and the Hu Gua, or the hidden influence, is 63, after completion, renew. It's very interesting because the underlying cause was also 63, okay? After completion, renew. So we know that though we're sitting in this place where everything has come undone, everything's unraveled, what we thought was going to play out is not what played out, and now we're kind of getting our sea legs, because it's sort of like, yeah, we're on land, but it's a bit of that temperance energy too. We can feel that this structure that's in place right now, it's fluid, it's shifting. It's built on shifting sands. There is this sort of like watery quality to everything. It's a little bit of that Neptunian energy front and center. There's a lot that is inspired right now. We still have the activation of the muse. Anytime that we are journeying through fairy, we are working with musing energy. So Continue to look at how your surroundings are inspiring you. What are they speaking to you? This is so key when journeying through fairy, to have such a deep connection with the elementals and to understand how the elementals are expressing themselves within you, within your emotions, within how your body is feeling, within your perspective, your inspirations, your urges, your desires. Maybe start experimenting with this, because we're really looking at grounding things out, grounding things into material reality. We're not looking to sort of obtain some kind of ethereal objective here. Although you may very much want to experience spiritual growth, you may want to expand your metaphysical knowledge and skills, abilities as an alchemist, but still we're looking to hit the mark and reach that point where we can say, I'm actualizing my destiny. I've claimed it. I'm in a place of complete sovereignty within myself. I'm a sovereign being. I am independently owned and operated. I am the creator of my life. I'm in that place of empowerment. I live life on my terms. I live life by heart. I follow the path of heart. I choose the path of heart, recognizing that it's my path. And if it's resonating with me, it's for me. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about my path. I'm not here to actualize the paths of others in their ego identity, okay? We all know it's one energy when we're looking at it in a broad perspective, but in practical application, we all are our own little egos operating on this stage of life. We're playing our role, we have our character, and we have the fluidity to be able to shift that at will at any time. So now is the time to prepare. How are you wanting to move forward toward your destiny in terms of how do you want to greet it? Now, you need to understand that when we're operating in a fixed place, which we are, we had an unchanging hexagram, which means we got a little bit of that stagnant energy right now, which means we might be a little too much. Ooh, here comes the rains picking up. I'm going to move on over here. All right. This is about going with the flow. It is about being spontaneous. This is a good example. All right. There's a lot that's being purified right now. There is a lot that is clearing out right now. And we got to just like allow the space and the room for that to happen without being so fixated on it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, be aware of where you're putting your focus, how you are using your energy on a day-to-day basis. Are you so fixated on the problem, like, oh, you know, this isn't working, or I'm struggling with this issue, or I have this worry, this concern. This stuff can be really front and center at this time. I mean, just tapping into the pulse of everything that's going on in the collective right now. There's a lot of people that are kind of operating out of scarcity consciousness. There's a lot of people who have stress, concerns, a lot of anxieties, especially just because the time of year it is the holidays. There's also a lot rocking and rolling in the world, okay? There's a lot happening right now. Things are, you know, on a political scale, things are really sort of reaching a critical juncture, okay? And there's a lot of upheaval, and we're all going through it together. We're all experiencing it, and there's a huge question mark over everybody's heads right now. And it's not just about what's happening for me personally in my life, how are things going to turn out, but it's like, where are we going? You know, collectively, where are we going? And are we really all in this handbasket together? Because it's kind of like looking a little bit like that right now. And then how do you reclaim a sense of optimism, right? And even the energy or the will or the determination to be like, yeah, you know, I'm going to get fired up. I'm going to go for my destiny. You know, it's interesting when you're journeying through dystopia and you're on the scenic route. And things change from one moment to the next. Just like that rain just kind of like breezed through. It's like there's going to be some clearing out that remains. There's going to be a little bit more purification needed, a little bit more letting go, but maybe start dropping in with yourself, and just kind of doing a little weather pattern check each day, asking yourself, how am I showing up today elementally, am I in an air type of energy? Am I feeling like I'm kind of off in the ethers and I'm daydreaming a lot, and maybe I'm feeling like being social or connecting with people or communicating with people, or I'm in a place where my imagination is really lit. These are all kind of signs of being in air, or being distracted, being a little ungrounded, maybe having multiple projects going at once. All of them are halfway done, feeling scattered and frizzle fried. Then you got a little too much air energy going on, a little much air element going on. You need to come down to earth a little bit. That would be good, call in that earth element. How can you call in that earth element to balance that out? Ground it out, go put your bare feet on the earth, go spend some time with the tree, go on a hike, clear your head, move that air energy, give it a place to circulate and go, breathing it out of your lungs as you're just like moving your body out within the elements. Okay, too much earth energy, what would that look like? Well, you're just like, you're lazy, all you want to do is lay around. You have no get up and go, you got no energy, you feel dull, you feel apathetic, the energy just feels heavier, weighed down, maybe even putting on some weight, then you're a little too much in the earth element. Well, how do I balance out the earth element? Well, if you want to balance out the earth element, first of all, you might need to make a little more room for that water to come in, just to kind of get the flow going, also to bring in a little nurturing and sort of get yourself to a place where you can start to have growth again, right? And it's also good to bring that water in, because water moves you out of the sort of stuck patterns that can come in when you're working earth elemental too much, and now you can start to find a little bit of a flow. Maybe you've been trying to be too together, too on top of things, holding it in, being the strong one, and maybe the thing you need to get out of that holding pattern, maybe the reason why you feel so depressed or dull or stuck is because the emotions are stuck and you're not having the stimulation of just like releasing that pent up energy, so you can start to have that creative energy come forward too, because creativity is very much linked with water elemental and the feelings and all of that creates a whole movement of its own, right? Well, what if you're feeling too water, What if you're in that Neptunian energy and you're sort of in this illusory, glamorized space? Or what if you are kind of like feeling just overly emotional, weepy, sentimental, Well, then, you need a little fire, man, so you can get things cooking, right? So you can get things cooking. And with the fire element, that would be all about just bringing in some sort of like channel, funnel for activity, okay? Because fire wants a pathway and fire wants to be expressed. It's damaging to have fire internalized. So, fire would be anything that connects you with a sense of passion or purpose. And when we're looking at the cycles, a manifestation, we just came out of the whole fire, water energy. So now we're landing in earth. So, there's this piece here where earth can put out fire if you don't maintain some kind of focus, because that's what really benefits earth elemental to be productive, is if it's being backed up by a little, ambition. You have to feel connected with what you're moving towards if there's going to be growth, because only if you feel connected with your ultimate vision are you going to be in this place where you're going to give it the care, the attention, the nurturing, and bring the creativity to it and all of that to actually bring it into being. So right now, you know, in looking at this whole journey that we've been on, the 4 jewels of the Tuatha De Danann, we're at that place where we're going for the destiny, the stone of destiny. It's very earth elemental, but we cannot lose all the other elemental qualities that we have gained along the way, because this is alchemy. We started with Frogrock, the sword of truth, which is all about that air elemental. It's about speaking the truth. It's about the initial inspiration that got you in this place in the first place, where you were like, I'm going to go on this journey. I'm going to quest for the jewels of the Tuatha De Danann. And so hopefully you got to that place where you really aligned with your truth, and not only aligned with it, but you took, you know, Frogrock from the sheath and you actually spoke it. You know, you spoke that truth into existence. If even it was just a truth you spoke to yourself. And then the next jewel came along, we moved into that fire element, right? Because air starts the cycle, and then fire is fed by the air. You know, think like a bellows. Too much air will blow the fire out, right? All things in balance. But, you know, you get that inspiration really, you know, heated up when you got that air energy now moving into fire. So we moved into fire with the Spear of Lu. And so that's when you took that kind of sword essence and you married it with the wand, you know, to represent that fire element. And through that, you used your truth to take an action, okay? You took some action that was based on your truth. And so that was the next stage of your manifestation process. I mean, the 4 jewels of the Tuatha De Danann is basically a template for how to perform alchemy. It's how to perform alchemy, how to call things into existence through working with fairy and working with these elemental qualities. So, you know, you did that. You took this action. Now, what happens after that? Well, then you need to nurture it. You need to make sure you have the emotional investment. You have to make sure that you still feel that initial inspiration, and that you're fueling that with your creativity through the water element. And that's when we brought in that sort of impregnation energy of the new world, where it was like that drawing down of the Spear of Lu into the cauldron of Dagda, you know, to really like get everything cooking. Okay, now the energy is felt sloggy, and there still is a little of that leftover cauldron energy, man. And we knew that. We knew that was going to trail a bit. And we do have this Saturn and Pisces energy. So, you know, it is going to be sloggy. You got to look at it that way, because, you know, Pisces, that's all that watery energy, the Neptunian energy, also the Jupiter energy. So it can be in excess. You know, Jupiter makes everything bigger. But then you marry that quality with, you know, Saturn energy, Capricorn energy, which Capricorn is the sea goat. All right, so we do have that to the advantage. I've had this take on Capricorn for a while, where I feel like Temperance in the tarot, I know it represents Sagittarius, but I feel like Capricorn should have a part in that too, to be honest with you, because Capricorn does hold that energy of earth and water, the sea goat energy. There's something there. And so there's this piece too, that we got a lot of that earth energy right now is stuck in there, with that Piscean energy, that watery Neptunian energy, and the energy that makes everything larger than life. And we still have this sort of clash between holding firm, towing to the line of tradition, and moving into just outright expansion, challenging the borders, challenging the authority, challenging the norm, and so we have this whole counterculture movement that's happening within a box. It's kind of like what we're dealing with here, and we're starting to look at undoing this framework and moving into a more wide open, spontaneous architecture. It's not even about having a floor plan. It's not about having a design, but it's about allowing it to become something that is very fluid and flexible, and almost riding this wave of manifestation like you would a wave, you know, surfing it out and responding spontaneously. Like when you're riding a wave, you're not like planning out. You can have an idea in your mind about how you're going to surf that wave that you're going to catch, but once you enter into that flow, you have no choice but to ride it out as it presents itself. And it's not necessarily going to go according to your plans. And so that's what everybody's dealing with right now. It's like wipeout energy, okay? So everybody's sort of like looking at the dystopian effect right now, where, you know, maybe we went through that tunnel, man, and it got a little burly there, and we got wiped out, and we smashed up against the rocky shore, and it broke us open. And we saw ways that our plans, you know, the ways we had certain expectations set up in our head, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. And so this is a big key, and especially with this hexagram that we got, hexagram 64, before completion. Right now, it's really using this time, this little, it's just a breath, man, okay? It's just a breath. And that's life in general, is one breath at a time. So it's like right now, it's just that breath. You know, you're kind of waiting to exhale, right? You might feel like you're holding things a little tensely right now because you're not quite sure what's going to happen next or how it's going to turn out. But is there a way that the perspective can shift? Instead of that being a point of anxiety, can it be sort of like tweaked a little bit in the consciousness, where you drop your BS, your belief systems about, and go, oh, this is actually kind of cool, that it's unpredictable, and I can't have a set expectation about what comes next, because that means anything can happen. And why does that have to be like such a bad thing? I mean, who knows? Maybe the next thing that happens is totally rad, man. And if you can start to kind of get into more of that playful brain space with it, despite how rough, you know, of a passage it may be right now, or how disappointed you may have been with how things turned out, or how frustrated you may be at the seemingly lack of progress in your situation right now, can you flip that script and can you go, this is actually a good thing, because maybe there's a big pause here because there's a lot of stuff getting moved around behind the scenes. And maybe there's something really wild about to open up that I could have never anticipated. This is moving a little bit more. It's kind of getting the jump start on the Aquarian mindset when we really enter that dawning of the age of Aquarius that happens, I believe, around the 20th of January 2024 is when we have Pluto direct in Aquarius, okay? And then we really kick off this expansive cycle. So we're being asked to invest in that dream, in the Aquarian dream, right now, and to not wait until January 20th, you know, 2024 to embody that, but to get a jump start. Because if we do that, when we hit that point, when we got, you know, Pluto direct in Aquarius near the tail end of January 2024 there, we're going to be ready to just step into that destiny and get it started. You know, we can be sort of like the ones who are taking that lead, taking that charge of the magician, because we do the alchemy work now to lead that charge like a, you know, Aries would do in the North Node. Aries is the initiator, and this is a new cycle. So that is the challenge right now. Can you see the vision of that expansion, even in the middle of dystopia? In middle of the complete unraveling, can you see the opportunity for such wide open creativity? Because since nothing's predictable, everything's possible. It's a whole new framework to work with right now, and it's the spirit you need to start to embody. And the more that you can kind of ground this out into your day-to-day reality and work with the Saturnian energy to get yourself running like a well-oiled machine, the better off you're going to be. So part of this is naturally going to involve taking a look at that initial target that you plan to shoot your shot for. Are you still invested in that direction? Or has the landscape shifted along the way that shows you need to have fluidity in your objectives, and understanding that this really is an experience where it is about the journey and the destination reveals itself along the way. You know what I'm saying? Often you start out down a road heading towards a particular goal, a particular destination, and then along the way, all kinds of stuff happens that can alter your course, change your perspective, change your experience. Maybe you even decide to, veer off your planned travel course. You hit some other spots along the way. Maybe that changes the ultimate destinations. Now it's time to kind of like look at your heart, look at the roadmap of your heart, feel out where are you at right now, understanding what you know now. Is there anything that you feel like you need to tweak? Is there anything that you feel like you need to do? Is there a side journey you need to take, okay? As far as everything that's, come to an end or unraveled or come undone, I mean, it is what it is. You got to just kind of like accept it. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you move out of this dystopian phase and you get to the productive phase where you actually feel like you got a sense of purpose again, and you're on the move. You're not, getting run over by that wheel of fortune, but you're on the upturn, all right? So that's all up to you as an individual, how long this takes you to get to that place where you just say, all right, what happened. I'm taking the wisdom from that. I'm putting it in place with my strategy as I move forward, which my strategy should be one of wide open mindset, willingness to explore, experiment, innovate, do what makes me uncomfortable, do that thing that I'm afraid of, but I know is the key to opening up the doors I want to walk through, making sure I'm staying in that place where I'm following the path of heart, where I feel invested, because I know that that's where my success lies in actually hitting a target. As long as my heart's on board, I'm good. If my heart's not on board, better just throw in the towel now or get clear on where the heart is centered, because you're not going to get that jewel, that stone of destiny, without your heart being on board, because that's what having integrity is all about. It's when mind, body, spirit is one unified front, totally aligned. And that's when you reach that point of really manifesting the path you're here to fulfill. The path that was already outlined for you long, long ago at the beginning of time. And this moment is here for you to claim. So tune in, drop in, feel it out. Make sure you're still aligned. Be ready to drop your preconceptions, to be open-minded, and just get yourself in that centered, settled place. Because new moon on Tuesday, the hunt officially begins.